Yes guys, welcome from me, Championship Manager 0102, the Fantasy Football Part 4. Now, I don't want you to get confused here, because whilst Part 1 was Season 1, Part 2 was Season 2, Part 3, blah blah blah, Part 4, I've actually holidayed 2 seasons. So we are at the start of Season 5. Now, it has actually made a lot of difference just to go to Season 5, because basically we're all now, as you can see, 20 years of age. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go through all the players. If I do miss anybody, I apologise. I'm not doing it intentionally. There's been a recent bit of criticism about me missing people intentionally. I deny all allegations to anybody accusing me of missing them. Okay, by the way, Dave Treasurer is retired from the game. Nah, I'm only joking. Right, let's start then. In no particular order, apart from value, let's start with Leigh Truss. And as you can see, Leigh Truss is available on a free. His contract has run out with Untouchables. And as you will see, he is actually still registered with the Untouchables. So if he moves, and it looks like there's a bid in, there will be a tribunal fee set. And, well, that looks interesting for Leigh. It looks like Leigh could be going to Arsenal. It doesn't actually officially tell us that it's Arsenal. They are an interested party, so Leigh could go to Arsenal. Marc Rutgers, he's also at the end of his contract with the Untouchables. Ajax are tracking him. Ajax are tracking him. That would be a good move for you, Marc, if you can get it. Mick is available on a free from the Untouchables. They not renewing contracts, which from these guys' perspectives is probably better, because they're not getting lots and lots of game time. So you can see, I mean, Mick hasn't really had ample amount. Sorry, I just realised. Let's just go back to Marc. Look at his history. Yeah, he needs game time. And Leigh, Leigh's had a couple of loan spells, but he needs some regular football really. On to Kevin, who is also on a free transfer from the Undateables. And I think whilst Klopp and Guardiola continue to play 3-5-2 as fullbacks, we need, I say we because I'm a fullback, but we need these moves. So no one is tracking Kevin Gilmartin at present. Okay then, let's go to Rob Lloyd then. Rob Lloyd is at Cardiff City after, he's had 2 moves it looks like since we last looked. So a big move to Portsmouth. And a big move to Cardiff City. So, Rob Lloyd, good luck to you. Although you haven't got much of a value on that, which is a bit bizarre. Where are Cardiff play? Championship. Strange. Okay, on to Adam Rowland. Still loan listed then for the Untouchables. Yeah, Adam, what can I say? Fucking dog shit. Shane Wright, left back. Long shots has gone up a little bit, but, you know, it is the same situation with regard to, look at that, thinks Dave Treasurer is a talented player. Fuck off. Shane, you're talking out your fucking arse. Okay, on to Max Cormac, the Undateables. Looks a good goalkeeper, does need to move, I think. Look at that, thinks Dave Treasurer is a talented player. I mean, fuck you. Someone's fucking angry at me this morning, aren't they? On to Matt King. Matt King needs a move, don't he? He hasn't had anything. Matt King. Paul Roberts, loan listed at the Untouchables. He's got some good looking figures there. It would be fair to say he is loan listed. He hasn't had a really good element of games. On to Ashley. Ashley, look at that. He looks the bollocks only as a goalkeeper. The Undateable is worth £2 million. Thinks Philip Stewart is a talented player. Had a loan spell, but really does need to move on. On to page number 2 then. We go to high value players. Sam Wheatley, loan listed at the Untouchables. Yeah, look at that. Sam Wheatley hasn't had a senior game in 4 seasons. Absolutely outrageous. Ashden Clare, dribbling, long shots, looks good. Ashden Clare, 2 for 3. Just over half a dozen games in total in his Untouchables career. How bad does that sound, his Untouchables career? Felipe, now I did read somewhere, no, maybe, oh, okay, Felipe, okay, that's interesting, isn't it? So Felipe is still at the Undateables, but we can see what's the matter with Felipe. Unhappy at the sale of Rafina, so clearly the Undateables brought Rafina and sold him, it would appear so. But that aside, Felipe is doing shit. On to Ross Horn. Ross Horn looks a decent DMC. Is he playing? Not really. He's had 1 loan spell. His first few seasons he really cracked it. Let me just remind you very quickly, we are in season 5, so the guys, the Undateables and the Untouchables, I'll tell you what their stance is at the end of this. Paul Ogden is a fullback. He wants out. That's how I'm going to look at it. Baz Chambers, he's a left back at the Untouchable. He wants out. He did have a successful loan spell at Mantova. Who are Mantova? Italian, right, okay. So that's that. Gjohn Davies, look at that. What a goalkeeper he looks. Capped for the under-21. And the most important thing there that took me a minute to see, he's at Chelsea. He's at Chelsea. Now, this is a case with somebody else. I forget who, but look at that. £50,000. He moved for £50,000. He's a hot prospect, so he's clearly in the Chelsea reserves, but that's a good move for him. Handling still a bit worrying. But loan spell at Exeter, Bristol Rovers. I can't grasp the £50,000 move there. On to Jamie Baxter, Untouchables, loan listed. Hasn't had any senior games for a few seasons now. Sort it out, Jamie. Chris Henson, defensive midfield left, looks the bollocks, but it's that position. He's had a few games here and there, still needs to get out. Padraig looks good. Goalkeeper wise looks very good. 3.2, 3 caps for the Republic of Ireland. A loan spell at Hull, and it was a very successful loan spell, I think it would be fair to say, after the first 3 seasons. So I'll give him credit where it's due. On to Pepe Page. Not doing much, is he? He's not doing much at all, Pep. Needs out, or wants out. Marc Brown, left back, wants out. He's got, the crossing, the tackling is good, but he needs to get that move. Tim Edwards, may recall he moved to Everton, and it was a free transfer move. So the fact that it was a free transfer move, I think he was out of contract, weren't he? Now the only reason his wouldn't have been set on a tribunal for Tim Edwards is because he'd have officially left Everton, and he would have had no club at all. Whilst you're with a club, but on a rolling contract, they have to pay a tribunal fee if you're under 24. That's why there was no fee on Tim Edwards, but he needs to pick it up a little bit. Matty Price, he's got a shit position, but looks good. Needs a move out completely. On to Jeff Cowell. Jeff Cowell looks very, very good indeed. I think he's still no, he's not loan listed anymore. Had a loan spell at Motherwell, so could this be his breakthrough for Jeff Cowell? Fingers crossed. The legendary Michael Chambers, he wants out. I had a personal conversation with him. He said he's disgusted at the Undateables. They're a shower of shit. He clearly wants out. Justin, a bid is in for Justin. Assumingly it's to Portsmouth. Transfer listed by request at the Undateables. Yeah, he needs that move. David McIntovich, again the position lets him down. Not lets him down, it's not his fault, but he wants out. Roxy Brown, midfield left. She went to West Ham, of course. Had a half a dozen games, but still needs to step it up. Wayne Chester, a bid is in for Wayne Chester. Now that could be any number of these sides. Look at the sides interested in Wayne Chester. Bournemouth, Celtic, Chelsea, Everton, Genoa, Venezia, Leeds, Manchester City, Newcastle, QPR. You see City there. Watch it end up him turning up at QPR. Apologies there to any QPR fans. So who knows? But I mean, Wayne Chester is prolific, isn't he? He'll do well, no doubt about that. Luke Langley, I'd like to see him get his move. Worth £5 million. Think Dave Trezeguet is a talented player. This is bullshit. Luke Langley, I think, although his average rating hasn't been brilliant the last few years, he's a player for the future. Capped under 21 for England. Quickly, yeah, sorry. And Thomas Tunnicliffe. Now we said what a great goalkeeper he looks. Good value now. Good set of games last season. I mean, he's been playing every season. He's probably the most capped player for domestic games. 212. He's done very, very well indeed. Page 4 then. Mark Whittaker, Tottenham, loan listed. Proud to be at Spurs. Loan would do him good. Shane Cousins, Blackburn Rovers. Looks the bollocks. Blackburn are in the Premier League, so yeah. Oh, look at that. Look, he's had a cracking couple of seasons, hasn't he, Shane? Hasn't broken into the England setup yet. Tobias, captain under 21, I think we knew that. Midfield right. And now this was the other one. So there you see Tobias moved to Aston Villa for £26,000. I mean, fucking hell. Tobias, I wish you luck working with Jeff Cowell over at Aston Villa. And I think you're still led by Steven Gerrard. Yes, you are. So, how do you like that? Okay, on to Ian Wood. Ian Wood, the left winger. Yeah, he's not doing it, is he? He's not doing it, but he is at, he's had a couple of moves there. Blackburn, Bournemouth. You never know. Let's see how he goes. Although he did register some assists last season and a few goals as well. Panos, the right back. I thought he was moving. I don't know where I got that from, but he needs a move. He's desperate for a move. Carl Rose, left back. Look at that. What a player. He's probably the best left back in the world. I'm not even patronising there, but he needs to move. I mean, he's had games, but out of position, I would imagine. Okay, on to Brian Lacey. Brian Lacey looks the bollocks. He got his move to Millwall, but he's just not performing. On to Jay Geneva. Again, similar sort of situation, but Jay Geneva got his move to Everton. And look at that, he's not actually done too bad, Jay Geneva, so you never know, as we like to hopefully peak now. Michael Clarkson, congratulations, you have broke into the Fiji international setup with 2 caps. Now, I said about Thomas Tunnicliffe is one of the best goalkeepers. Look at Michael Clarkson, 20 reflexes, 20 handling, strength, stamina, determination. He looks absolutely amazing, but he's not playing for the Untouchables, and that's probably because they've got so many goalkeepers on the books. Steve Harl still battling along at Brentford. I mean, he's got amazing attributes off the ball and finishing, and he had a good season last campaign, 23 goals. Brentford are in the Championship. Okay, on to Daniel Young. Daniel Young has also got that finishing off the ball, but he's an attacking midfielder. But look where he's playing, into Milan. He got a Bosman move, and there was no tribunal set fee for anyone moving out of the UK. I think when it goes to an Italian or a Spanish, they pay no tribunal whatsoever. But as you can see, he's already unhappy. On to page number 5 now. Michael Godfrey. A couple of attributes, but needs to step it. I mean, in attribute-wise, he had a good season last campaign. Well done, you. Chris Thomas is still battling at Chelsea, valued at £8 million. Didn't have a great season last campaign, but he's getting there. Michael Page, Undateables. Look at the long shots, dribbling, looking good. Michael Page didn't have a cracking season at all, but got some good value. Thinks Dave Treasurer is a talented player. Bollocks. On to Peter Rudd, the Untouchables, capped at under 21. Peter Rudd looks fucking phenomenal. And his seasons, in my opinion, it will just get better and better. On to John Pickett, capped at under 21s for England. I believe he'll get better and better as well. On to James Hollyoak, the Welsh Wizard. I say Welsh Wizard, I know that's renowned for being a winger. Thinks Dave Treasurer is a talented player, for fuck's sake. You couldn't script this bullshit. So yeah, James Hollyoak looking good. On to Matt Tierney. Matt Tierney is currently injured for 10 days, but looks good, capped at under 21s. He could make it, but there's a lot of competition. Steve Watson, is he going to make it? I mean, he's got value, but he needs probably a move. That's what he needs. Lee Sylvester, he does need a move. £9 million. The values are going up now. Baz Chambers, £9.5 million. Centre midfielder. He's done well. You know, again, there's a lot of competition in the centre mids. He's looking good. George Wills, he is loan listed. £9.5 million, but he desperately needs a move, George Wills. On to page 6, Paul Adams, the right winger, looks absolutely phenomenal right winger, capped at under 21, albeit he didn't have a great season last campaign. He looks really good. Daniel Osborne, forward, got the dribbling, 9.75. You know, although the value's there, still needs something. Daz Jones, another Welsh maestro in the centre midfield, 5 caps of Wales, done very well. Still going along with the Untouchables. Ili Stevkov, 13 caps for Macedonia. Positioning amazing, tackling amazing, decisions 23. Look at that, absolutely amazing. John McGrath, the left winger. Look at the crossing, one of the best crossers around. Loan listed at the Untouchables, probably needs a move. Ian Williams, apart from those 2 attributes that stand out, probably one of the worst players in the game. No offence, but yeah, shit. Needs a move, desperately needs a move. Matt Meikle looks great right winger. Who was the other winger we saw a minute ago? Paul Adams was it or someone? But Matt Meikle looks equally superb on the right wing there. And as you can see, he's getting games with Liverpool, not being very prolific, but you never know. He's still got a good 4 years on his contract. On to Marc Bonney. Marc Bonney, cap for England. 1 cap. How do you like that, Marc Bonney? 1 cap for England. And that's what I mean, there's a lot of competition for central defence. He looks absolutely amazing. £12 million value. He's prolific. He is very, very prolific. Dan Hanshaw, Newcastle United. He's getting there. Look at the dribbling, finishing. Still needs to build around though. Did have a good season, 707. Still needs to do something though. Stu Murtha. We said, whoever it was, John McGrath or somebody, one of the best crossers. Stu Murtha is probably the best crosser in the world. How do you like that? Do you like me praising you like that, Stu? The best crosser in the world. Uncapped under 21s for England. I mean, you've got to look really at season 3. 27 assists, 793. Credit where it's due there, Stu Murtha. looking very good indeed. Andy Lowe, the Undateables, looking really good. Probably needs his move. He probably does need his move. Thinks Dave Treasurer is a talented player. That really must be a bug in the game. Page 7, Dave Treasurer. Okay, this is what we've been waiting for, isn't it? Marking, tackling. I mean, 3 caps for England. Well done. 1 goal for England. You can almost understand why people think he's a talented youngster. Fuck knows where this has come from. He started with the same credentials as every other player in the game. He looks absolutely amazing. Now that's interesting. Feels he has no support from his manager. So what that roughly means is he's been praised by the tabloid, and his manager hasn't built up the praise. He's probably no commented it or downed the praise. Eben's still going strong at Newcastle United. Certainly got the value, but does need to step it up performance-wise. But last season was probably his preferred position, and certainly his better season goal-wise. 698. On to Arnie. Arnie looks really, really good at the Untouchables. The passing, the off the ball, the dribbling. Arnie, no wonder he's one of the highest valued players. Prolific assist machine, it would be fair to say. On to Adam Bush. Adam Bush, a striker, valued nearly £15 million. But there's a lot of competition up top. Morton, 5 caps for Norway. One of the best crossers in the game. Stu Murtha, you haven't quite reached his heights of crossing, but nevertheless, look at that, 17 million. The assists have really come in the first 2 seasons for you, Morton. On to Trevor Choi. Trevor Choi, 6 caps for Hong Kong, 2 goals. The Untouchables valued at £17.5 million. Last season wasn't great. The season before was decent. Still a little bit of work for you to do there, Trevor. Liam McShane, one of the highest value guys, around £19.5 million. Last season wasn't the greatest. Season before was. The first 2 seasons certainly you did well, Liam. Philip Stewart, we said somebody said he was a talented player. He thinks Dave Treasurer is a talented player. Philip Stewart, last season was probably his lower rate of season, but there's still time to go. William Anderson, £25 million he's worth. And you can see why. You can really see why. Although last season wasn't as good. Gary Johnson. We are coming to the second highest valued player. Unhappy with his manager for whatever reason. Valued at £29 million at the Undateables. Looks very, very prolific indeed. Look at that. 781. Look at the season before. 843. And of course, 5 caps for Scotland, 2 goals. And finally, the highest valued player so far, Dez Robertson, Manchester United. Now, I can't even see. Finishing 31. That is absolutely insane. And most importantly, there's his last 2 seasons for Manchester United. He has smashed it. He has really, really smashed it. Dez Robertson. Okay, Scotland, 18 caps, 11 goals. Okay, so let's go to the Undateables then. The Undateables. Let's have a look at their competition history. Last season, they won the championship, and as you can see there, they finished 4th in the Premier League, which of course means this season, season 5, they will be in the Champions League. Congratulations to the Undateables. So let's take a look at who's been their player of the season. Gary Johnson, not surprisingly. Gary Johnson's taken it for the last 2 years, which is funny really, because it looks like they've still got Timo Werner there. So, oh, have they still got Timo Werner? No, it don't look like they have. It looks like they've sold Timo Werner. So let's have a look at who they've bought first then. Baku, what a player. Very versatile, but they've got him on a Bosman. And last season, let's see if they've got anyone from Man United. Hoffman, they must have bought him, but yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at who they have sold last season. Daniel Young, we know, went to Inter Milan. Okay. Where did I miss that? When did they? So they sold Rafinha for. Okay. So I'm getting confused with Untouchables, am I? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. So where's Timo Werner? Hang on a minute. Where the fuck is Timo? Right, let's just fucking go players out a minute. I didn't even spot that. So they sold Timo Werner. What the fuck? So they sold Timo Werner to Man City, and Man City then sold him to Leverkusen. Jesus Christ! I mean, Werner going isn't actually a bad thing at all, in fairness. But do you know what? Right, well, so they brought Rafina and then sold him. Okay, who gives a fuck? So that's where we're at. So there are the guys. They are the guys. Okay, let's go then to the Untouchables, who we know clearly are in the Premier League. The Premier League. Oh shit, what's going on there? So the Premier League. Let's see where they finished last season. They finished second in the Championship season before last, and they finished 9th in the Premier League. So they have not made Europe. They might have made it into Toto. I very much doubt it. Let's take a look actually to see if they did make the into Toto. I doubt it. They would call it the Europa qualifying. Let's have a look at their transfers then. Sarr from Chelsea. That's a good signing, to be fair, on a Bosman. Yeah, he looks like a shower of shit. No one else gone. Players out. Jay Geneva we know went to Everton, and Tobias we know has gone, and Gjohn Davies has gone as well. Let's take a look at the players of the season. That was actually not players of the season at all, was it? Shit, that was top goal scorer, so I'm going to have to check that. So fans player of the season, William Anderson has taken it for 2 years running, 3 in 4 years. That's why he's one of the highest value players. And whilst we're very, very quickly, let's go to the Undateables. The fans player, well, Gary Johnson took that as well. So I think I was on goals when I took goal scorer. So Gary Johnson, that's why he's at the top there. So that is it really. That is where we are at, guys, with our big sides. Let's take a look very, very quickly at the Undateables, and I believe it's still Klopp. Klopp's still going strong, and he's still playing 3-5-2. Look at that defence, right? We mentioned, didn't we, that defence with the Undateables. Dave Tresidder, Illy Stedkov, although he's not English, we said what a great player he was, and then of course Marc Bonney as well. Look at that. That's why they're doing so well. That is an emphatic defence, let's say. And Stewart and Johnson up top. Interesting, really, because let's just take a look at the forwards a minute. Yeah, I mean, who the fuck's Gallon? So he's clearly come through he's come through the youth ranks. Simon Johnson, is that another youth player? Yeah, another youth player's come through. Guest, another youth player. So they're getting a few youth players coming through. Yeah, they're getting several. Let's just take a look at the stats. So 45 players on the books. Okay, that's where we're at then with the Undateables. Let's have a look at the Untouchables. Still led, I assume, by Guardiola and Ancelotti. Dean Henderson is still the number 1, and this is why Padraig needs to leave. Padraig needs to leave, and Michael Clarkson needs to leave. Those guys have got to go, no doubt about that. But so their average lineup, yeah. Oh no, that's interesting. So the Untouchables have gone on to 4-4-2. Now that is really interesting. But you know the disgusting thing about that is that the Untouchables gone 4-4-2, and I'm playing for the other side, motherfuckers. So that's good, great news for Mark Brown. Great news for Matt Doherty. Well, that's interesting. And last but not least, let's see if they won anything last season. I doubt they did. Well, the Untouchables got to the FA Cup semi-final, and look who knocked them out. Jeez, we're going to look at that in a minute. So they got to the FA Cup semi-final where the Undateables knocked them out. And let's take a look at the League Cup as well last season. They got knocked out on penalties to Fulham. Before we go any further, let's go to the season before last and see if they did anything. FA Cup 5th round and League Cup 4th round. Okay, let's go to the Undateables. Last season, do we dare look at it? Did they do it? Well, there you go. They got knocked out the League Cup 4th round. And they won the FA Cup. The Undateables won the FA Cup. That is fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. Gary Johnson, how'd you like scoring 2 goals at Wembley in the FA Cup final? That is absolutely crazy. What we're going to have to look at the season before last, see if they got anywhere. 5th round of the FA Cup, it looks like, and in the League Cup quarter-finals. So Gary Johnson is absolutely killing it at the minute. So we're looking at season 5 now. What we're going to do now, guys, I'm going to probably holiday a few years so we can see the big impact of where players have moved to. All I'll say really is from the Undateables lineup perspective, just keep an eye on that back three. It looks like 3-5-2 is the way forward because Bonney, Tresidder and Stevkov look absolutely insane. Johnson, of course, Rafinha, we know he was in the last night, but he's gone. We know. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anyone that sticks out that could break away. Paul Adams, I would be sticking Paul Adams on that right. Rafinha gone. Who knows what that could do? That's the only thing I would do. But you know, who am I to question Jurgen Klopp? But that is one real key thing. I think it's worth pointing out Derek Robertson. Let's give him a little bit of a shout out here. Oh look, Lukaku's back at Man United. Interestingly, so Derek Robertson, he is absolutely killing it. He really is, and he's a star player. He's a star player. So if we just look at Scotland, why is Gary Johnson and Derek Robertson not the star players is beyond me. Well, you can probably understand why. Okay guys, that is it. So until next time, when I go forward a few more seasons, we will see where we are at. Till next time guys, it's fuck off.